to Madam Kate for hosting this and for launching such an important initiative. Mr. Adil Farhan, Mr. Fazal Ishfaq, Mr. Umar Farooq, thank you very much. So, as you know, I'm the Minister for Information and Broadcasting, but half of the time, I'm the Minister for countering misinformation also. So that also comes with the job. As the digital space has grown over the past few decades, governments have realized how important it is to take initiatives with regard to technology. And I've been working with the Prime Minister when he was the Chief Minister of the Punjab province. And we realized that without technology, we cannot achieve progress, we cannot achieve growth. So we came up with Pakistan's first land record management information systems. We digitalized the whole land revenue system, which was in fact conceived by the British Raj at that point in time, and it was still in those registers, in these shabby rooms, and nobody over the decades or over the centuries tried to change that system. So when we took up the challenge and we came up with Pakistan's first land record system, which was in the digital domain, it wasn't easy. It was a huge challenge, because when you move away from the traditional and conventional systems, change is something which is resisted the most. But we were up to the challenge. We completed that successfully. We also have the honor of establishing Pakistan's most effective and largest safe city project, which helped us in combating not only crimes but also terrorism. And I believe that if you don't change with time, time will change you. And in this digital age, as far as information is concerned, as far as editorial content is concerned, I think verification and authentication are the two most important things that we need to have in order to give the people of the world a true perspective on what's going on and what the reality is. In history, if you look at the brief historical background, as far as newspapers are concerned, television channels are concerned, there was some form of editorial control. You had systems, you had training, you had people who were well equipped to deal with information and how to disseminate it. With the resurgence of the digital age, unfortunately, we do not have mechanisms to authenticate or to verify information. And I can tell you that it causes a lot of damage and a lot of loss. Our economy has been very fragile. And one small wrong news item with regard to an already vulnerable economy, the amount of loss it causes to the image of the country, it cannot be measured. And I've been advocating this since the day I've taken over, that we need to equip our journalists, we need to equip our digital freelancers with proper skills so that they can become ambassadors of this country, so that they can actually contribute towards the image building of this country, and in order to protect vulnerable groups. Now, I come from a constituency which is very non-traditional. I contested the elections. I have 70,000 minority votes in my constituency, 70,000 Christian voters in my constituency. So when I reached out to them, I could sense a fear in their eyes. I could sense that they feel insecure. And I reached out to them and I said, listen, I will hold an open mic, we will sit down and we will discuss what the problems are. Some misconceptions, preconceived notions, and some false information spread by religious extremists had caused such a huge wedge between us and them that it took me almost 1 week to actually make them feel secure that this country is yours as much as it is mine. And people who spread hatred, people who spread false information are not our friends. The vulnerable groups, marginalized communities are mostly targeted through digital media and through certain hidden agendas. So when you speak about gender harassment, you speak about protection of minorities, they are actually at a loss because there's no one to protect them, and small amount of false information goes a long way in causing trust issues and causing damage. So I've taken this initiative. We've, in the Ministry of Information, we have this system which is known as a fact check. And it started off 2 years back, but now we've made it into a digital platform on all social media platforms where if we feel that any information needs to be verified, we actually put a stamp on it and we make it viral through our platforms, through our ministry, so that the ministry can actually tell the people that this information that was spread was false, or if some information requires authentication, we have those forums. But I believe that this is a great initiative that you've taken. And I would like to pay my compliments to Google and to Tech Valley on this collaboration where they've actually come up with a system where master trainers are going to be training journalists in this field. And as it is, there's a lot of contribution made by Google in the form of Google Lens, which is being widely used. Google Maps are being widely used to verify information, to get the correct amount of information. So I believe these trainings will help build our society, will help bridge the gaps that we have between our communities. This will eradicate religious extremism and the hatred and the hate mongering that goes on certain social media platforms. In this day and age, terror outfits are actually using social media platforms to give updates of terror attacks. And we've been helpless against this issue because certain groups who act against the safety and security of the nation, we have no means of countering them. And this recent very unfortunate incident that took place in Bhutan, they were those incidents about it, to counter that, to give a message that nothing of this sort will happen. And sometimes there's so much panic that goes on, and that also causes problems. So we're totally committed to this cause, and we are willing to go out of our way. And I would also like to offer my help and assistance that if we can collaborate with Google, with Tech Valley, maybe we can increase the number of trainees that you have, maybe take this from 1,000 to 2,000 in fact. And I think this will go a long way, because with the right amount of training, with the right amount of focus, we will be able to create an environment in which we will promote harmony between our people, in which nobody will be caused any harm in the digital domain. Because the harm caused on digital domain, there is no redressal for that grievance. We don't have systems whereby you can actually act upon that. And I've dealt with a few extremist groups in the recent past who were actually very fond of these digital media platforms. And I asked them that you spread so much false information and hatred, and you've resorted to extreme religious views on these platforms. They said these platforms are very effective for us because it helps us get our message across. So the digital space can be used positively and negatively. And with these trainings, we will not only be able to create a positive image of our country, but most importantly, we will be able to create a safe and secure environment for our people, and we will be able to protect our people. So my commendations to you, and I believe that in this day and age, this is a very, very important issue, and it requires a lot of focus, a lot of attention, and we are willing to go out of our way to resolve this problem. And you've taken it up at the right time, at the right place. And I think that with this kind of approach, we will soon reach a level where our society will be free of these vices that I've just mentioned. And I would also like to take this opportunity to pay homage to those journalists who, in the line of their duty, while performing their professional duties, they are often subjected to great difficulties. And freedom of expression is often targeted with the right kind of editorial system, with the right kind of approach. I think we will be able to resolve these problems as well, as we are totally committed to the freedom of speech, to freedom of journalism, as envisaged in our Constitution. And I can tell you, because I've been on that side of the table as well, I started my political career as a student activist when we set out for the restoration of judiciary. And if we did not have support of the journalists at that point in time, of journalist bodies at that point in time, and if there was nobody to speak up for us, I think the landscape of the country would have been very different right now. So I think whether it is the need to raise our voice for rule of law, whether it is economic progress, prosperity, whether it is social issues, whether it is climate change, whether it is gender inequality, whatever issues we are faced with the help that you are providing, I think for us, sky is the limit, and Pakistan has a good story to tell. And thank you for your contribution in helping us tell that story.